Welcome you. Today, we're diving into a really interesting piece from muckypaws.com.
Yeah, it's got us thinking.
It's about AI, yes, but it really narrows in on how we're actually using it, how it's being woven into our lives, specifically in customer service.
Exactly. And our mission here, for this deep dive, is to unpack the core argument. It looks at our current AI frustrations, sure, but puts them in this much larger historical picture, how we've always kind of wrestled with big tech changes.
What really struck me, though, is that it's not just another anti-AI rant. Not at all.
No, it sees the potential.
Right, but it asks these really sharp questions about, well, are we thinking about the people involved as we roll this stuff out, especially when you just need help from a company?
And it uses some great examples to make its case, historical ones, and some painfully familiar customer service nightmares.
Yeah, relatable is the word.
So the central theme the article keeps coming back to, it's this idea that throughout history, new tech often brings discomfort, fear even.
It seems almost baked into the human response to change, doesn't it?
It does. And the article kicks off way back with the wheel.
The wheel. I mean, you don't even think about it, but yeah, the article makes the point. It revolutionized things, obviously, but it created totally new demands.
Right. Suddenly you need roads, people to make wheels, maintain them, research.
So even something that fundamental shows the pattern, solves problems, creates new ones, sometimes ones you didn't see coming.
And that connects directly to the Industrial Revolution, which the article digs into next. A massive shift.
Huge. You know, the flying shuttle, spinning Jenny, all these inventions boosting production like crazy.
But the article doesn't gloss over the cost. It talks about the handloom weavers. Devastating for them.
And it makes this critical point about the Luddites. They weren't just, mindlessly anti-technology.
No, it was fear. Real economic fear. Losing their livelihoods.
Which feels incredibly relevant today with AI anxiety, doesn't it? That fear of being replaced or left behind. It wasn't about hating progress itself.
It was a plea for consideration, really.
Yeah.
Which maybe holds a lesson for us now.
Definitely raises that question. How do we manage this transition with AI so the benefits are shared and we look out for those most affected?
And the article then jumps forward a bit to the ATM.
Ah, the cash machine. Hard to imagine life without them now.
But people were wary at first, weren't they? The article reminds us of that skepticism, trusting a machine with money.
Yeah. But, well, the convenience obviously won out. Shorter queues, 247 access.
And interestingly, bank tellers didn't just vanish. Their jobs changed.
Yeah, more towards advice, financial planning, dealing with fraud, things the machine couldn't do.
That evolution of roles, not just elimination, is a key point when we think about AI in customer service jobs later on.
Then there's the internet, another massive disruption the article covers.
Oh, yeah. Retail encyclopedias. Think of Britannica. Traditional media, all turned upside down.
But it also created whole new industries. Web developers, e-commerce giants, cybersecurity.
And again, the article highlights the trade-offs. Online banking is convenient, for sure.
For most of us, yeah.
But closing physical branches, that hit vulnerable people hard. People who needed that face-to-face service.
It's such an important point about accessibility, isn't it? Progress shouldn't leave people behind.
And all this history, it really sets the stage perfectly for the article's main argument about AI in customer service now.
It draws this direct line from how call centers changed over time to, well, the chatbot hell many of us experience.
Exactly. Think back maybe a couple of decades ago. Customer service often felt more human.
You talk to a person, they might actually listen, try to figure out your specific problem, maybe escalate it.
It wasn't perfect, but there was engagement. Then, the article argues, things shifted.
Towards efficiency, right. Scripts, flowcharts.
Companies realized lots of calls were similar, so they tried to contain them, handle them within these rigid structures.
The goal became call containment, not necessarily real help.
And then outsourcing often made that worse. Agents sticking rigidly to scripts, maybe without deep knowledge or the power to deviate.
Which brings us right up to the article's kind of punchline for AI now. Chatbots are just bad scripts in disguise.
Oof. It's a strong claim, but then it backs it up with these examples that just ring so true.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone who's tried to sort something out recently will probably nod along. That voice assistant loop on a credit card call.
Yeah, asking for info you literally can't give it.
Or the delivery chatbot that just completely freezes if your situation is slightly non-standard.
Or that IT supplier example, the AI, reading out every single tiny item on your order and you can't interrupt it.
So frustrating. And the broadband one, just offering the same basic turn it off and on again advice no matter what's wrong.
And the article makes this sharp observation about hold times for human agents seemingly getting longer.
Right, like they're deliberately pushing you back towards the often useless bot because you just give up waiting.
It feels calculated sometimes.
And the author interprets this as more than just bad service. It's like a message.
You're not our priority anymore.
Yeah, maybe especially from big, dominant companies that feel they don't need to focus so much on keeping individual customers happy.
Which leads to maybe the most critical point in the whole article. The training data.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really concerning. Explain that.
Well, the argument is that these flawed systems, these frustrating scripts and processes we just talked about, that's what's being fed into the large language models, the AI.
So wait, we're taking the broken bits of the old system.
And using them to teach the new AI system. The worry, as the article puts it, is we're amplifying the worst parts, not fixing them.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Pretty much. If the training data lacks nuance, can't handle exceptions, doesn't reflect empathy, the AI learns those limitations.
So it just reproduces the same problems, the endless loops, the feeling of hitting a brick wall.
That's the fear. It won't intuitively know when a human touch is needed, or when the standard script just isn't cutting it.
So what's the takeaway then? Is AI just bad for customer service?
No, the article is careful not to say that. It's not anti-AI itself.
It's about the how.
Exactly, how we're implementing it. It argues we need much more thoughtful training, investment, and crucially, systems where AI and humans collaborate effectively.
And it brings up accessibility again, which is so important.
Yes, for people with learning difficulties or cognitive issues or even just language barriers. These rigid AI loops can be impossible. A small problem becomes a huge roadblock.
Absolutely. And empathy. The article stresses that, not asking AI to feel, but to recognize when a situation needs, well, a different approach, a human approach.
To understand the underlying need, not just the keywords.
Which leads to the idea that even a really good AI system needs an escape hatch.
Right. It needs to be, as the article says, resilient enough to know when to hand control back to a human.
That's not a failure of the AI, it's just smart design, playing to strengths.
Precisely. And the article sums it all up with this really powerful line.
Go on.
The true test of any company or service provider isn't how well they sell you something. It's how well they respond when something goes wrong.
Wow, that really hits home, doesn't it?
It really does. It captures the whole argument. This deep dive shows the concern isn't the tech itself, but the human choices behind how we use it, especially when we're vulnerable and need help.
So for you, listening to this deep dive, maybe take a second. Think about your own recent run-ins with customer service AI. Or AI elsewhere.
Yeah, have you felt that frustration? Does this historical perspective and this warning about flawed training data change how you view the AI rollout?
It's definitely food for thought, isn't it? About making sure this powerful technology actually serves us well, serves humanity.
And it underlines that this conversation about doing AI responsibly, well, it's ongoing. And it's absolutely crucial we get it right.